Hey guys, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com. And today we're going to be talking about a financial worksheet for your ortho component of your practice. And I've mostly created this for the general and pediatric dentists that are out there because orthodontists usually have ones already. There are programs for this. There's OrthoVi, there's different apps, there's sliders. But if you're just getting started with ortho in your practice, first of all, I've got so many getting started videos. You should also look at my book. If you go to StraightSmileSolutions.com and click on the link at the top, it takes you to my book. There's tons of tricks and tips in there. Also within my YouTube site, there's over almost 1,000 videos, and also my gpwebinar.com site, tons of content in there to help you. It's all free. So I put it out there. I don't make money off this. So I put it out there just to help you because sometimes my clients are asking. So free information. But I kind of generated this financial worksheet that's done in Excel as a template for you getting started on this conversation. You might have, this is just for aligners. Obviously, it's going to be slightly different if you have braces, if you have phase one. This is just getting you started. If you'd like a copy of this template, it will be free for any of my actual clients, anyone that's a regular client, not an a la carte client. So just contact me and I will be glad to give you a copy of it totally free. If you are not a client, you can become one, or the fee is $20 for the copy of the document. And you can contact me and I will send you an invoice, or you can go to my store and purchase it. So in any case, let's go over kind of how you use it. And you should definitely watch my other video. I have a few videos before where I kind of dive into this a little bit more and how I'd use it in the practice. But basically, in a nutshell, I think everyone should offer Invisalign. Ooh, spelt wrong. Nice. That helps. Sorry, that's going to drive me crazy. I think everyone should offer Invisalign as well as an off-label in-house aligner, alternative system of aligner, 2 different price points. Obviously, the Invisalign, I do believe that everyone should be doing moderate or comprehensive only. That way you get everything done perfectly. And for the alternative or in-house aligners, you can do things more improved, a slightly lower price point. Doesn't mean you have to make them inside. You can outsource. There's ones that include revisions, refinements, tons of videos and tons of content on that. Just watch my other videos. Slightly different price points, right? With Invisalign, obviously you're coughing up a big, hefty down payment, like a lab fee up front. So you need to make sure you're getting your money. So I don't think you should charge more for aligners than braces. I think you should charge the same. You could charge the same price for alternative aligners and braces, and Invisalign could be more. I'd be fine with that. I don't think that you should penalize people that have financial circumstances. One of the biggest mistakes that I see doctors make is that they will require a huge down payment for Invisalign, but not for braces. And then everyone goes braces, but you end up having a way more chair time by doing braces, and you don't want to do that. So I like to give the patients options up front. It can be very overwhelming. They need to be able to see the numbers and then decide. Again, if you're a general or pediatric dentist, you have just literal gold mine of potential low-hanging fruit opportunities. You don't need to wait for doctors or patients to ask for it. Every patient should be screened for ortho. It is standard of care, especially if it's functional. And most patients that are adults and kids are functional, because it is progressive. Malocclusion is a progressive condition. It will get worse over time. It is a liability for you if you didn't point it out, whether you're going to treat it in-house or you're going to refer it to an ortho. It is a liability for you. There are cases on the books where doctors, didn't point out malocclusion, didn't refer, and things got worse and it came back to bite them, which is why everyone should be screened. Whether you're going to do it or you're going to refer it out, you might do half and half. Let them know what the conditions are. Let them know the prognosis. You can point out all kinds of things from periodontal disease to decay, attrition, abfractions, erosion. A lot of things are airway issues, sleep issues are caused by ortho, or malocclusion. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to kind of go over how my worksheet works. For example, let's say my Invisalign fee for this, let's say this patient, hypothetical patient, she's 16, not that hard of a case, moderate case, about 20-ish aligners. So for me, 20 aligners could be done with either Invisalign 2025. I'm just guessing. And if you don't know, that's something we at StraightSmile Solutions would be glad to teach you how to guess, effectively, because you really want to know before you give a quote. I think one of the biggest mistakes that doctors do is that they say, oh yeah, I think this can be a light case or an express case. It ends up being like way harder because they didn't really know. And then they end up losing money on the case. So you definitely want to consult with an orthodontist when you're just getting started. If you don't know, you shouldn't be doing this by yourself, until you get your skill set up. So let's say it's about a 20 aligner case, pretty simple case, moderate malocclusion. We can definitely fix it. We could use either Invisalign or we could use an off-label aligner. For me, there's a variety of different options for off-label aligners. Some include revisions, refinements, some don't, So ultimately, I got to decide what I'm going to use and my price is going to be accordingly. But I would definitely have this one be a little bit lower and more affordable because I really want to incentivize patients to get started. I don't want finances to be an issue. So let's say my Invisalign fee is $5,500. Oopsies. Okay. So for discounts, I don't believe in doing all these kind of discounts. That's a load of, when patients always think you have a coupon, then they know, it just cheapens things. So the discounts would be for insurance. So you can, talk about it being like that. So obviously if you're in network, then you got to put that as a discount. Otherwise, no discount. So, so let's say, we'll just leave it like that. That's the insurance discount. For in-house aligners, let's say my price is, I love $39.99. I don't know, that's one of my favorite numbers, okay? So these end up being the prices, right? So I definitely think everyone should have a pay in full option. I think you should have a hefty discount for the pay in full option if that's what they're doing. At least 5%, if not more. Maybe you're gonna have different for cash than you will for credit, but I think it shouldn't be like 2%. I mean, it should be between 5 and 10%, depending on if they're using credit card or cash. Okay, so we want to incentivize them to pay in full. You'd be surprised how many patients would pay in full if there was enough of an incentive to do it. And for me, incentives, even like school tuition, I get, I don't know, a little bit of an incentive to pay in full. And if I can, I'm going to do it if it's worth it. If it's not worth it, why would I do it, right? So you got that option. Then you should definitely have options for both no interest financing. As a matter of fact, I don't think you should really have any interest in your financing. I think that patients, and then credit checks are also an issue. So I think you should have a with credit check option, and I think you should have a no credit check option. And with credit check is going to be, with no interest financing is going to be like your compassionate, your care credit, some of these different ones. A lot of patients don't love that idea. So, it's not that popular. It's very hard to get approved. I can tell you just for kicks, I tried to get approved once and I didn't even get approved. And that was like ridiculous just because, mortgage and student loans. And it's like, dude, I pay all my bills, really? And I make a decent income. Really? I didn't get approved? That's embarrassing. So if I don't get approved, how is it? Most patients are not going to get approved, most regular patients. So you can't only offer, the with credit check option. But definitely if the patient is looking for extended payments over 24 months, then okay, that's an option there. We can get those payments really, really, really low, and that's what it would bring it down to. So you want to be able to plunk your number in and have all this populate. And obviously if they're not an in-house, kind of candidate, then you just delete this part out and then you're just offering the Invisalign or the braces or whatever. But here's how it is, so with these ones, with the no interest with credit check, you're going to take a decent haircut, and that's your discount right there. You know what I mean? So that you would have offered anyway. So you as the doctor is going to be penalized, but you usually get your money for these upfront. So it's worth it. Maybe you take a 10, 15% haircut, but you get your money up front and it's guaranteed. So it's worth it. And then the patient gets to pay over time. Then I think you should definitely have a no credit check option as well. So this could be one of two different options. It could be an in-house financing option. If you really, I would try to really limit your in-house financing. I think that it requires you to hire more staff to chase down patients more, especially I think the economy is going to really tank this year. I'm pretty sure it is. And I think there's going to be a lot of defaults like there was back in 2009. I was practicing back then and I remember it just being just a big old mess with people defaulting right and left on ortho. And if you've already started their treatment and you've done IPR, you've done extractions, you have to finish it, especially if it's a kid. So I think right now is the time to really button up your financial procedures to get a good financial contract. Keep in mind, this is not a contract. So you have to take how you're doing things and you need to extrapolate it into a financial contract. I do have other videos on how to make those, but I think you should still consult an attorney on that. Because I think if you don't get your financial house in order, you're going to get really screwed this year with payments. I just predict it. Everything happens in cycles. So I would start really limiting your in-house financing. If you're going to do it, then I would require a hefty down payment of a good 33% or something like that. At least that covers your Invisalign lab fee for the most part. And then their monthly payment is over 6 months, way less than the amount of treatment that you expect. Yeah, I mean, and most patients are pretty honest, but there's always some that aren't. The other thing you could do for no interest financing, no credit check without doing in-house is you can use a company like Verity. I think there's a few other ones that are out there that will do ortho now, that do dental, that don't require a credit check, that accept most patients. They do have monthly fees that go to the patient. It comes out to a very small percentage. It comes out to about $20 a month, if you're extending it over 24 months or whatever. They don't accept all doctors. So that's what I like about it, is that they do vet the doctors to make sure you're a good fit for their practice. So that's really the vetting process. So you might not get picked. If you're interested in Verity, contact me for the no interest financing, no credit check financing. Again, the fees small fee that's monthly will be applied to the patient. They'll let you know exactly how much it is. It depends on how much and how long they're financing it for. So I didn't write it in here. I don't have Verity's code, but just to talk about it. In addition, you're also going to take, as a doctor, a small haircut. So it's not as much of a haircut as you get with your Care Credit and Compassionate, getting your money up front. You will not be getting your money up front, though. You'll also be getting your money every month. As they pay it, you get paid, but it's guaranteed. So if the patient defaults and goes bankrupt, you're still getting your money. Verity's not getting their money. You're getting your money. So they're assuming the risk. You're taking a haircut. Patient's taking a minor haircut, but $20 a month or whatever is not. It's usually fine, for most patients to be able to spread it out, and they don't check credit. So they're looking at the patient's responsibility from a different standpoint. Do they pay their rent? Do they pay their mortgage? Do they pay their phone bill? Things like that. And a bunch of other questions that they do, but they assume the liability. So one other option that I talked about in my other video that I'm not really extrapolating here, but just things you can talk about, is if you're doing, there's a variety of white label and off-label aligner companies that are out there where you can do what we did a long time ago, which is produce the aligners in batches. So you can just do the first 5 or the first 3, Obviously, you're going to pay probably an additional fee for that convenience and the shipping, but you can have the patients do a no down payment, just a monthly payment. You could do in-house in this case if you wanted to, or you could do something like Verity or, Compassionate or Care Credit. But this will allow you just to kind of make the aligners as you go. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do this on extraction cases, and I wouldn't necessarily want to do this on aggressive IPR cases, because once you've done the IPR, you actually have to. It's a liability. You have to finish the case. So it would be one of those cases, and you wouldn't want to pick a case where you're going to be in this like transitional dentition. Sometimes if you have like an anterior crossbite, in order to fix the anterior crossbite, you kind of get in this pivoty, unstable occlusion before you get back into the stable occlusion. You can't make them worse from where they started. That's the key to these type of things at any time, or leave them in a worse position because they'd be at risk for trauma. So, or breakage, or fremitus or perio issues, and then you as a doctor would be liable. So you need to pick the cases carefully. I would call this a super easy breezy case that is no to no, almost I'd say no IPR, something where we could just do it in batches and take our time, and the patients could pay as they go. But yeah, I mean, that's another, and I know some doctors that are doing this and it's working really well for them. And a lot of times patients are like, I only want, give me what I can get in 5 aligners. That's all I want, even if it's just an improvement. And you do that. And then later they might pay for the additional 5 more aligners, and you can even have them pay per aligner if you wanted to, $300 per aligner, $400 per aligner, something, well, that wouldn't really make sense. I'd say maybe $200 per aligner would make sense. Because that way, if you had like a 5 upper and lower, that's 10 aligners times $200, right? So, that sounds reasonable to me. Or even you can even do 150. But I think that's a really cool way to market it as a per aligner fee. We can pay per aligner. My fee is $20 per aligner plus $90 per setup. So, I mean, there's a significant markup on that, but that covers my my chair time, my treatment planning time, and everything like that. So, all right, hopefully this is helpful. Again, if you want a copy of this worksheet, if you're a client, go ahead and contact me, an existing client. If you are not a client, you just want a copy of it, the fee is $20. I will hopefully get it up in my store eventually if you want it automated, but if not, just contact us. I'll send you the invoice, whatever. Hopefully this is helpful. All right, thanks so much.